Good morning. Having our Buddy Brew coffee again. We're doing it remote because we've got a lot of other activity going on today. But I'm here with Jordan Raynor. Jordan and I both appeared at the Federation of
Florida Association
of Counties yesterday speaking, and we talked about what, Jordan?
We talked about how government officials, and specifically county commissioners at the local level, can be using technology and can be using the internet to make government more open. It was great. I gave a 30-minute presentation, which we'll post later. But then Commissioner Sharp and Commissioner Gooden and Commissioner Welch from Pinellas sat on the panel and talked about what these guys are doing at the local level to do this on a daily basis, to use technology to make government more accessible. And really, I mean, that's what Coffee with @MarkSharpeFL is all about. Like, we are making, you have done a phenomenal job in making yourself accessible to your constituents, and that's what this is all about. And one thing I want to say, before we kind of get into the issues about this, there's 3 ways that I want everyone to be aware of that you can tune in to Coffee with @MarkSharpeFL. We do this every Friday morning. The first way is you can watch it on Mark's website, MarkSharpeFL.com. Just click on coffee. You can watch it live, and you can submit questions to Commissioner Sharp, and and Commissioner Sharp, once he sees your questions, can take the questions and answer them. The second way is you can subscribe to Mark's YouTube channel, youtube.com/MarkSharpeFL. We post all of the Coffee with @MarkSharpeFLs on there, and you can also subscribe on iTunes, so you can watch this podcast. And I did some research, and I think Mark is the only local elected official in the country to have his own weekly podcast within iTunes. Just go to iTunes, search Mark Sharp, and download that. You can watch on your iPad, your iPhone, your iPod. That's what this is all about, is making government officials accessible wherever voters are, wherever constituents are online.
We were talking over the weekend because I was at Apple all weekend long. And the whole concept that they have of transforming a store into a place where people can come in, touch, experience, use all the new technologies they're developing. The Genius Bar, where you can go and sit down and you can talk with folks. They've really creatively thought about how a store will interact with the customer. Government hasn't done that at all. And what we've talked about is not just using technologies to make the current system work, because the current system is broken. And what we need to do is find ways to take this new technology that's being developed, the opportunities for everyone to interact immediately with ideas, with comments, and apply it in a way so that government can be much more responsive, much faster. I'd love the idea of every time an individual has a problem, whether it's basic stuff, the water service your trash isn't getting picked up, you're having problems with your water service, whatever it might be, that you can get an immediate reaction from someone, immediate response, and have the problem solved.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved what you posted on Twitter this weekend about, why can't we bring the Genius Bar concept of Apple to County Center? You were at the Apple store, and here's this Genius Bar you could just walk up to, get all of your problems fixed right away. One of the things we were talking yesterday on the phone, and I said, you know what I love about Apple is when I call, right? So when I call Apple and they tell me there's going to be a 40-minute wait time, they have the option to, I have the option to hang up, and they can call me back on my cell phone. Why can't we provide that kind of service to the people of Hillsborough County? I think we can, and you're leading the charge to do things like that.
Well, everything that we do, and one of the things I posted this morning, got a quick reaction from a good friend, not surprised, is that we always try to explain why we do things the way we do them, and the fact that all these very important services that are being provided at the county center must be provided by the county. And my question has always been from the very beginning, is there another entity that could provide the service for less, do it better? Is there a way for us to coordinate better with nonprofits, with private interests, and or other government entities, and say, okay, rather than the county doing this and at a high cost, is there a way that the service can be provided, but it can be done with others? We're looking at that with animal services. We're looking at that with children's services. We're looking at that, in the way that we deal with Head Start. We've got a great program, and we're going to continue to provide a tremendous program. But the idea is there another way that it can be delivered to the customer without there being high costs.
Right. Yeah. And, I think, at the core of all this, technology is just a tool, right? So technology and the internet isn't going to fix anything on its own. But really at the core of what you've been talking about is, really revolutionizing government. I love what you said on the panel yesterday, and at first you were a little hesitant to use that term because, sometimes people take that term out of context, but it's true. Like, we need to overhaul the way things are done at County Center. And, you've been leading that charge by, reshaping the leadership at County Center. This is something, we have really, really big issues in our county as a Tampa resident.
Let's talk about leadership.
Yeah.
Because that's very important. This whole issue of, who's going to be in charge. In the military, if you don't perform, you don't function,
right.
You're gone. There's not a long delay. They move the next person in. You get that battlefield promotion. You move the next person up. And even in sports, oftentimes there can be a quick turnover of coaches. For some reason in government, it's always like, well, it's very slow, and what has this person done wrong? They have to commit this almost heinous crime in order to be removed, and that's not the way government should operate. A government should be functioning like these other entities that we all watch and we can see. Look, whether it's the sports arena or a business. They move quick. They have to adapt. Government isn't that way, and we must change. And so what we're looking for are fresh ideas. We want people to get engaged. We want to see top-down and bottom-up transformation of how government operates, and that requires listening to people, including people that we might not want to listen to. And that's been a frustrating thing as well, because oftentimes we want to close individuals out and make those decisions just with a small number. And you can't do things that way. You can't develop the trust that is absolutely essential if our government's going to work.
Right. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is things like this. This is the start, right? So making yourself.
Somebody wants to know if you can text or highlight the speech.
The speech yesterday. Yeah, somebody asked us. Tampa Craig on Twitter asked us if we could post the highlights from Mark's speech yesterday at the Florida Association of Counties. Yeah, we will. Mark, we can get that posted today, right?
We can do anything.
We can do anything we want, right? Yeah, we'll definitely be posting those highlights of the speech. There's actually a great video up right now of a very quick clip of Mark talking about what we're talking about this morning, about revolutionizing government, about
and we want to
rebuilding government.
We want to see this idea taken to the state, and really to the federal level. What frustrates me is there's a sense of secretiveness and the idea that somehow all these decisions need to be made again by a small group, and oftentimes that small group I don't think are in the best interest of the whole. Right. You've got your lobbyists, you've got the folks that like to make the decisions because it benefits them. What we're trying to do is really open the system up and bring a lot of people into the process, including the lobbyists. They have a role as well. They can explain their case. But what we want to do is open the system up so that we can really democratize our government in a way that it hasn't been done before, and it's a way to, I think, guarantee that folks will have confidence and trust in their government, which they've lost. And we can also be assured that we are spending money properly, because there's so many things that must be done, but the revenue's not there, and I don't think you're going to see government revenue back for another decade.
Yeah.
Could be, which is a good thing. We don't need to be spending a lot of money. We need to be being smarter.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You hit the nail on the head, and I've got nothing more to add to that than what you said.
So I would recommend you get your coffee of your Buddy Brew coffee.
We'll be back at Buddy Brew next week, right?
We'll be back next Friday morning, right. And then I would also ask that you have a very safe 4th of July. Enjoy the parades, the picnics. We're going to get a little rain, which is not a bad thing necessarily. And again, God bless America, and we'll see you next week.